Okay, so now I'm basically going to show my drawing on how a stent is placed. So inside the esophagus, you can see where the esophagus is. It's basically this whole entire like pink tube leading down into the stomach, and then we see where the esophageal junction is and the pylorus junction is, leading down into the duodenum. Now, if you notice here, there's well, forget about this black mumbo jumbo stuff for just a second. So we notice right here, there's a growth. And this could be cancerous. It could be due from a past surgery, anything along those lines. Now, down here, this is where obviously our esophageal junction is, leading into our stomach. And this is kind of representing where the stent is going to go. Now this little tiny black line here, and then this little tiny black line here is representing a guide wire. Now that guide wire is like a railroad track that's going to lead our stent to proper placement of where we need to be releasing the stent. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and push our stent down into the esophagus. And this little blue thing here, it's called like an olive bullet. So basically what that did is it leads the stent directly where it's supposed to go. Now, on this specific case, the physician goes past the where the growth is, which is good, because he wants to make sure that the stent fully engages within that growth. So he goes a little bit past, he comes up to make sure it's placed properly. Then the stent is actually released a little bit further up, not exactly right here, but a little bit further up. It's important that the top part of the stent and bottom part of the stent extends past the growth by at least 2 centimeters. And then once it's released, it expands where that growth is, so the patient can then swallow their food. This stent is typically placed around 30 days or so before it's being removed, and then we're looking at possibly doing another surgical procedure, hopefully to get that cancerous growth out or whatever tissue is irritating and causing the esophagus to constrict. We can also put this stent in past the stomach, and then you see the pylorus here going down into the duodenum. Now where the duodenum is, in case we have any kind of, same thing, anything that's a strange growth or cancerous, we can go ahead and we can place this stent in there as well, and then pull everything back out, and we're good to go. Now after that stent is placed, the guide wire is still there, the stent's placed, the guide wire is pulled back up. The esophagus, the physician will go back down to the esophagus with their scope to make sure that that stent has expanded properly and it's got a good delivery, so therefore that can be placed temporarily for the patient for the time being. Stay tuned for some more videos to make it more easier to understand. Okay, you can see where the bullet or olive point has gone past where the growth is, and the physician is slowing up slightly to make sure that the stent is in place. The physician figures, well, I don't have it exactly where I want it to be. So the physician goes ahead and he goes a little bit further down to grab the stent. And you'll see where he pulls it back up the esophagus. See how he's pulling it back up the esophagus? And then he's releasing it, and it expands. That way the growth won't cause problems. And there you go, and everything is taken out. Okay, basically what we're looking at here is just the guide wire, how it goes all the way from the esophagus all the way down into the stomach. Okay, this is where the bullet is being placed for the stent, and it's being extended out where our growth is. Okay, here's a cool view of where the stent's being placed. You can see the bullet going right past on the guide wire. And it's trying to be placed right where the growth is. However, the physician finds out he doesn't exactly want it there. So he pushes back down to grab the stent. And then he'll pull it back up. Right there, he pulls it back up. And then he'll expand the stent. Right there. Good placement. And remember, we want to make sure that there's 2 centimeters below and 2 centimeters above. And you'll see that here in just everything's drawn out. There it is. 2 centimeters above and 2 centimeters below. And then that's what the stent looks like after being placed. And once we look through it with our scope, we can see his proper placement and we're good to go.